First he sees son of a king, Rajaputra. For him Narada blesses Rajaputra Chiranjeevi. You always stay, don't die. Because he's enjoying in the life. And the whole process of enjoyment, he might have committed some sinful activities. If he dies, his future will be suffering. So Narada Muni said, you don't die. Then he goes and he meets a son of a Muni, Muniputra. Muniputra means Lord of austerity. So much of austerity, brahmacharya, so many things he has done. For him, Narada Muni said, Ma Jiva, you don't live, you die better. Because you have done so much of austerity, if you die, you will get better life. Then, as he walked further, he met a devotee, sadhu. For him, he said, Jivava Marava. Whether you live or die, it does not matter for you. For devotee of the Lord, he is happy in all conditions, whether it's a heaven or a hell or in all circumstances, thinking of Krishna. So Jivava Marava. Then he met a butcher, the fourth person. For him, he said, Ma Jiva, Ma Mara. You don't live also, don't die also. Because you are living also is so much of suffering. Morning to evening you are butchering the animals. And if you die, what is your destination? Hell is your destination. So better, you don't live also, don't die also. So like this. So, it has two messages. One is that how our next life is determined by the actions of this life. And the second is how great is the life of a devotee. He is happy in this life also, in the next life also. So that is Krishna consciousness. So with this, we'll start today's session. We'll start from verse number 13 of this section. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text number 13. Atho Mahabhaga Bhavan Amoghadra. Ato Mahabhaga Bhavan Amoghadra. Ato Mahabhaga Bhavan Amoghadra. Shuchishravaha Satyarato Dhrutavrataha. Shuchishrava Satyarato Dhrutavrataha. शुचिश्रवा सत्यरतो धृतव्रतः उरुक्रमा उरुक्रमस्य अखिल बन्धमुक्तये उरुक्रमस्याखिल बन्धमुक्तये उरुक्रमस्याखिल बन्धमुक्तये समाधिना अनुस्मर तद्विचेष्टितम् समाधिनानुस्मर तद्विचेष्टितम् अतो महाभाग भवानमोघदृक् शुचिश्रवा सत्यरतो धृतव्रतः उरुक्रमस्याखिल बन्धमुक्तये समाधिनानुस्मर तद्विचेष्टितम्. O Vyasadeva, who is talking this? Narada is giving instruction to Vyasa. O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is spotless. You are firm in vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus, you can think of pastimes of the Lord in trance for the liberation of people in general from all material bondage. So he is asking Vyasadeva, what is the qualification to think of the pastimes of the Lord? We also want to think of the pastimes of the Lord. But it is very difficult because we are not getting any rasa, enjoyment in hearing about the pastime of the Lord. You see, when you tell some stories of Krishna, yeah, I know this story, people say. Because there is no enjoyment in hearing the story, the same story again. Yeah, Mahabharata I read, Ramayana I read. They know the story. I know the story. Why I am not able to hear that again? Because I don't have interest. I am not able to derive any pleasure in it. So, what is the qualification one person should have to think of the pastime of the Lord is here. Person's vision should be completely perfect. Means when he thinks of the purpose and goal of life and thinks of the world, he sees the world, the perfect view, what is God, what is material world, he has complete understanding. He is completely absorbed the jnana, the knowledge. Then your good fame is spotless. You are firm with the vow. So you are, whatever the vow you have taken to practice your devotional service as prescribed by your Guru. So that should be followed very strictly and situated in truthfulness, a sattvic nature, and not having any sinful activities, sinful thinking. And such a person can think of the pastime of the Lord in trance. It is very nice to hear activities of somebody whom we like. Think of yourself thinking of your children activity, whom you love so much. Though you may remember and think of it so many times, you don't get bored. Why? What is the reason? As your mothers and fathers, parents, you can easily connect with that. It may be the same story. How your child was doing. You may be narrating it to the hundred of people, so many people when you meet. You know, my son is like this, my daughter is like this. You don't get bored because as you love that person, the activities of that person become very, very lovable. Some people who are great fans of some movie star, they watch their movie for 100 times, 200 times. I know some of my friends were watching some movies again and again and again because he likes to see that. So many times. Now, in the material world also you can understand. If you love somebody, this all so-called love in this material world is already faulty. It is not perfect love. Still we can see there is an attraction for the activities of somebody whom you love. Then imagine you have real love for Krishna, then how attractive it will become to hear Krishna's pastime. Now I know if I do not have attraction for hearing the Lord's pastime, means what is the problem? Problem is the love or the devotion for Krishna has not arisen in my heart. Still my heart is contaminated by material anarthas, unwanted things. Unless our heart get purified, I will not get taste for hearing God's name. That is why chanting also. Those who are chanting more number of rounds, they keep checking how many more are there, how many more are there. Because it is not very tasty to chant. But what is the process? The process is what our Guru has given. Though it may not be tasty for us today, we should continue to do that. Prabhupada gave the example of jaundice patient. The patient who has got jaundice, for him the sugar cane juice, sugar candy is bitter. What is the medicine for jaundice? The sugar cane. So if you take sugar cane juice again and again, though it is bitter, slowly he will be relieved of his disease and the same juice will start appearing sweeter. Because diseases will go. Today it is like this, like our tongue. Imagine yourself, your tongue is laminated. No lamination shop, you make it lamination. Imagine tongue is laminated. For you, rasgulla also same, and bitter gourd also same. And you cannot make out any difference. Like when Corona came, somebody lost the taste. So that time, whatever you give, it's all same taste. Doesn't make any difference. So today, our senses are laminated by Maya. We are not able to taste the mellow of Krishna. That lamination has to go, that has to be removed. How to remove that? Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Read Srila Prabhupada's books, follow the principles. Slowly, in our heart, attraction for Krishna will start arising. So this is the process. So Veda Vyasa has become eligible because of his firm oath and truthfulness and the perfect vision. This is the reason Narada Muni is saying, now you think of Lord's pastime and for the benefit of general people. Okay. Tataha Anyatha Kinchana Yadvivakshataha Tatonyatha Kinchana Yadvivakshataha Tatonyatha Kinchana Yadvivakshataha Pratagdrishaha Tatkrita Rupanamabihi Pratagdrishas Tatkrita Rupanamabihi Na karhi chet Kwapi Cha Dusthita Matihi Na karhi chet Kwapi Cha Dusthita Matir labheta vatahata nauho ivaspadam labheta vatahata naurivaspadam. Whatever you desire to describe that is separate in vision from the Lord simply reacts with the different forms, names, and results to agitate the mind, as the mind at the wind agitates a boat which has no resting place. If you don't keep Krishna in the center, what will happen? If you don't keep, because the Vyasadeva has already written so many literatures where Krishna is not directly explained there. It is there in India. Vedesha sarve ahameva vedya. From all the Vedas, you have to understand Krishna. It is there. But it is not direct. Because of that, if there is a Krishna, if you separate vision from the Lord, it simply reacts. Means people get agitated. People start thinking, start going away from God. You know, when you Vedas say in the second chapter, it is explained. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschitaha vedavadarata partha nanyadasti tivadinaha kamatmanaha swargapara janma karma palapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. And read the translation, what Krishna told in the second chapter. He said, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. People go for the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for the elevation to heavenly planets. That will give you idea how to go to Swarga and how to enjoy more. The resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous for sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. So, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Yam imam pushpitam vacham. Flowery language of Veda, pushpitam vacham. Arjuna, these Vedas will give all these ideas to stay in this material world. And when you go for a little bit of enjoyment, from there we go more. That's how this attraction of the material world is. Like people go for shopping. They go with thinking that I will buy on footwear. While coming back, they buy footwear on sari, on this and so many things they come. Because they went there and they saw something and then they saw something. They go ahead buying so many things while coming back. What happened? When I get attracted to one thing, then further I may get attracted to another thing. I go to one devata and get my desires fulfilled. Then I see more happiness and more bigger world of happiness, of material happiness. I go to more and more and more and more. So, Narada Muni is telling that please do not, you are explaining only apart from the Lord. Then what happens? Just like a wind agitates a boat which has no resting place. The boat which has no resting place is compared to Jivatma, all of us. The wind agitating is all the instructions, messages given in the other Vedic literatures, where Krishna is not in the center. So this is the instruction of Narada. Jigupsitam dharma krute अनुशासतः जुगुप्सितं धर्म कृतेऽनुशासतः स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः व्यक्त वाक्यतो धर्म इतीतरः स्थितः यद्वाक्यतो धर्म इतीतरस्थितो namanyate tasya nivaranam janaha namanyate tasya nivaranam janaha jugupsitam dharma krutenu shasataha स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः यद्वाक्यतो धर्म इतीतरस्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणं जनः. This is very important instruction. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. Prabhupada gives an example. I'll just explain this. Vyasa has given lot of Vedic instructions. For example, there is a method in our religion to eat meat, mamsa. How? On the day of Amavasya, you should look for particular type of goat, not any goat. Actually, we must know even this bali. This bali is given. It's not that any goat, any cow, any horse can be given bali. They are born with certain bodily symptoms. Mahabharata and Ramayana explain very deeply about this bali. It is explained some soul has taken the birth of the horse to be sacrificed. In the previous life, it must have done certain karma and got a desire to become bali. Then only it takes the birth of that particular horse. Then after that, when that horse takes birth, the soul takes birth as a horse, it takes birth with a particular bodily symptoms. It is not like other horses. They are kept separately. I remember in some villages earlier, I also used to have these practices. They would sacrifice this oxen, that what is a buffalo, male buffalo, what is that called? Kona. So they sacrifice to Kali. And this particular buffalo is born with certain bodily symptoms, and from that time onwards, as it is taken birth, it is left free. It is one day for sacrifice. It is meant for that. The rule in the village is that nobody should beat, nobody should chase that, because it's Devradu. Or the Devru Kona, they should not touch that. There's a rule in the villages, it is there. So they are, that is why you see Ashwamedha Yaga and all, Ashwa goes on to different, the countries, kingdoms. They cannot beat, they have to provide place. They can only fight with the king who left that Ashwa. They cannot do anything to Ashwa. So like this, there are certain rules for sacrificing animal. On Amavasya day, one particular type of goat you have to take to Kali temple, how to do, all those things are given. Then you have to chant one mantra, then you can have the meat. What you should say to the animal, I am killing you in this life, in next life, you can kill me. Mamsa. Me too. After telling that much, still person is having so much desire to enjoy the meat, he cut and he kills. These are the rules. So Narada is saying, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care about the prohibition. Slowly what will happen? They'll forget this Amavasya, they'll forget which goat, they'll forget the mantra, they'll say, in our religion, giving bali and killing animals, eating meat is allowed. This is what has happened, what Narada Muni is already telling. 5000 years back, Narada said, it happened. Then Buddha came to stop that. We all know that. So he is warning. It's a condemned. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable because they are guided under your instructions. This is very natural. When we like something, the rules for that is forgotten after some time. I knew one person in our temple in Bangalore. He was overweight, 120 kgs. So he went to the doctor and he went to some weight reduction therapy, and they said, now you should follow this. He, from the therapy when he came, he reduced about 10 kgs. Then he had a mission, I should come back. So then the doctor gave him very strict rules. Then he followed all those things very seriously. Then he became 80 kgs, 70 kgs. He became perfectly fine. And he used to come with me. We used to go out for preaching. Then he said, actually, I said, then you cannot eat this, you cannot eat sweet, you cannot eat that. He would like so much actually, sweet and these things. He was hankering for that. Then he said, no, doctor has told one thing, once a while I can eat. So that once a while, so whenever he is with me, that once a while day only comes. He would always eat, and soon in 3-4 months again he went back to 120 kgs. The doctor has allowed him to eat the food what he likes with some prohibitions. Once a while, maybe once in 15 days it is. He forgot the prohibitions. He only remembered doctor has allowed me to eat. So Prabhupada says this in the purport. Just like a doctor prescribes something to patient, you should not eat this. With a prohibition. People forget the prohibition. People only remember what doctor has allowed to eat. So like that, it's natural for people, in the name of religion, they will forget the prohibitions and they start breaking the rules and commit sinful activities. This is the instruction of Narada. And further, Narada Muni is saying, Vichakshanaha asyarhati veditum vibhoho vichakshanossyarhati veditum vibho anantaparasya nivruttitaha sukham anantaparasya nivruttitah sukham anantaparasya nivruttitah sukham pravartamanasya gunaihi anatmanaha pravartamanasya gunairanatmanaha tataha bhavan darshaya cheshtitam vibhoho tato bhavan darshaya cheshtitam vibhoho. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only a very expert personality, retired from the activities of the material happiness, deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment should not be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through the description of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. Should be shown. So now here Narada Muni is explaining, those who are very expert personality, one should be retired from all the material activities, should not be interested in any material things. And he deserves to understand the spiritual knowledge. Then you will understand about Krishna if I don't have attraction for material things. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment, all of us are not well situated because we have material attachments. So Narada is saying, for all of benefit of everybody, should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through the descriptions of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. For all of our benefit, conditioned souls who are still having attachment in the material world, for them, my dear Vyasa, you should have description of the activities of the Lord. That you should do. This is the instruction. So, the spiritual master also gives prescription for all of us. What to do, what not to do. Somebody made very nice compilation. Like when you go to doctor writes your name, your age, then he says, no, what is the disease? He writes a diagnosis. Then after that, he writes what all medicines to be taken. Then at the end, he writes what are the do's and don'ts. Suppose you go with a fever. He writes your name, such and such person, 50 years old, the viral fever. Then he gives tablet 1, 2, 3, and after that, no cold water, no ice cream, this, take hot water, what are the do's and don'ts? Then he signs. Isn't it? Look at doctor prescription. So, we all have one roga, the disease. What is the disease we have got? That is called bhava roga. Okay. So, if we go to doctor, our doctor is Guru Srila Prabhupada. He'll write our name. What is our name? Our name is Spirit Soul 1, Spirit Soul 2. We have some name. So Srila Prabhupada has given a name for us. Then he'll write age. What is our age? Time immemorial. We are stuck in this world. Anadi karma phala. Then he writes the description. What is the roga you have got? Prabhupada is seeing what is the roga you have. You have very serious bhava roga. Third stage, fourth stage, it is already there. So this bhava roga, what are the symptoms? The symptom is that you take birth and die, suffer, birth, death, old age, disease. And he is observing all those things. Then he gives prescription. What is the prescription Guru gives? Prabhupada gives. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. At least 16 rounds every day. Read Srimad Bhagavatam at least 1 hour in a day. Get up early in the morning. So he gives some prescriptions. Then he gives some do's and don'ts. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. Some don'ts. Some do's. What is that? Go to temple once a week. Have association of devotees. Some do's. Sadhu Sangha you do. And then he gives signs. So we all have got prescription from our Guru. Our roga is determined. Our disease is determined, symptoms are known, prescriptions are given, do's and don'ts we know, what to be done, what not to do. Now what should we do now with this? You have to follow. After meeting doctor, the perfect doctor, he given that prescription. We should all follow the prescription. Just like if you want to get cured from the disease, You should go to doctor and take prescription and follow seriously. Then your roga will be cured. So the Guru, Acharyas like Narada Muni, they are thinking how to help everybody. Understanding Krishna is meant for those who are very elevated. They should not have any material desires. They can understand Krishna. Then what about us? What about people in general? What will happen to them? So Narada is saying, should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through the descriptions of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. How do you see? How do you, Vyasadeva, how can you show sympathy to all the living beings? By describing the transcendental activities of the Lord. By describing about the Lord. And if people get to hear that, they'll be freed from all the diseases. Please repeat. This also I given in the handout. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harehe. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harehe. Bhajan apakko atha pate tato yadi bhajanapakko tata pate tato yadi bhajanapakko tapate tato yadi yatra kwa va bhadram abhut amushya kim yatra kwa va bhadram abhut amushya kim yatra kwa va bhadram abhut amushya kim ko vartha Abtaha abhajatam swadharmataha ko varta apto bhajatam swadharmataha. One who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. Actually, this is a great assurance of Narada to all of us. We all are performing devotional service. Those who left their occupations and rendering devotional service, those who sacrificed. What Lord is seeing is how much you sacrifice your material happiness for service of the Lord. It is very important in our life if you want to advance in our spiritual life. It is not that when I am completely comfortable, then I am going to temple. Okay, if everything should be all right, then I'll go to temple, then I'll chant Hare Krishna, then I'll worship Krishna. Krishna is saying that how much sacrifice you are doing to worship the Lord. That sacrifice is, one is giving up his material things to engage in devotional service. Those who are seriously engaged in bhakti, devotional service of the Lord, sometimes if that person leaves and goes away, he or she does not then practice. For some time he came, practiced Krishna consciousness, left and gone back to his material life. Narada is saying, yet there is no danger for his being unsuccessful, because Lord will protect him. Example is Bharata. Bharata Maharaj, he advanced in devotional service, but finally got attached to a deer and died in thinking of deer. But Lord protected him. How did he protect? He gave the memory to the deer that I was king in my previous life. And the king also got the shelter in ashrama to further make progress. So like that, Ajamila, she was a young Brahmana. Under the guidance of his father, he followed very strictly all the principles. Until the day he went to forest one day and got attracted to a prostitute. Then his life was full of sinful activities. Killing, stealing, and all kind of sinful activities he was doing. But what did Lord give him at the end? Lord gave him an opportunity to chant his holy name. By giving him an idea, let me name my son as Narayana. Who gave that idea to him? His Lord only gave. Then he was attached to son and he called Narayana, and Narayana took this opportunity to save him. Another example is Chitraketu. Chitraketu actually blasphemed Lord Shiva and Parvati. Because of that, he fell down and he became Vrutrasura in the next life. But Vrutrasura was a great devotee. He wants to die in the hands of the devotees and go back to home. The next life of Vrutrasura goes back to home, back to God. Like this, though there may be consequences when a devotee falls down from the spiritual position, but Krishna will protect that devotee and give him an opportunity to come back. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. At the end of your life, you should think of me. So one devotee asked Prabhupada, though I am chanting and remembering Krishna now, what if at the end of my life I don't remember Krishna? I think of something, what will happen? So Prabhupada said, don't worry. Though you don't remember Krishna at the time of death, you have remembered Krishna throughout your life. So Krishna will remember you at the time of your death. So he will pick you up. So in similar lines, here Narada Muni is saying, the devotion, the one who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service of the Lord. As I said, one has to do some sacrifice to perform service to Krishna. Not with the conditions. If somebody has a condition that I should get all my comforts, then I will serve Krishna. Like somebody was telling, I prayed to Krishna, I'll give him 500 crores. When I prayed to Krishna, Krishna, I am doing a business. May my business flourish. I get 1000 crores. Then I will give 500 crores to you. Good deal with Krishna. That Krishna wants your 500 crores? No. Krishna is seeing whether you have credits to get 500 crores for yourself first. Otherwise, this will not get sanctioned. Like one more example, somebody told this story. Earlier days, in the villages, there used to be jatra, and people, that time wealth of a person is measured on how much grain he has and how many cows he has. This is the measurement of anybody's wealth those days. In the jatras and utsavas, there used to be a place where they trade this. They trade rice, they trade cows, they trade bulls. So one villager, one farmer, took his bull for sales. to the jatra. He tied the bull. From morning he is announcing 25,000, 25,000, somebody, nobody has bought. It's a 3 days jatra. First day over, nobody brought. All others are getting sold. So many purchases are happening. His bull, nobody is taking. Then he went and prayed to the Lord. Because that is a jatra in the temple. If my bull is sold, I'll give 50% to you. Harakke. He said, then he came. Then he came and he tied on bell to the bull's neck and started saying, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000. One person came, yes, I will take for 25,000. Then he said, actually, you know what? This bull is only 100 rupees. This bell which is tied to the bull's neck, it is 24,900 rupees. Condition is that you should take together. You cannot take separate. For him, how does it matter? He said he purchased. Then he went back to Lord, took the change of 50 rupees, put it in hundi. 50% of bull's money is put in the hundi. So, this is called when person wants using God for his material enjoyment. It's a business. This is what Prahlada did not want. You know that story, right? When Narasimha came, he killed Hiranyakashipu. He protected Prahlada. He did all those things. Then he asked Prahlada, my dear boy, you have done so much of devotion to me. Ask me what you want. Prahlada said, my dear Lord, why are you talking like this? Why you want to make my devotion as a business? I don't want anything from you. So, the pure devotional service means one has to sacrifice his material comforts. If with the devotion, with the intention of enjoying material wealth and going to Krishna, that is also bhakti only, but that is called karma mishrita bhakti. In your handouts, I have given 3 kinds of bhakti. It is called kevala bhakti, pradhanya bhakti, guna bhava bhakti. Kevala bhakti I am talking, nishkama devotional service, nothing else. Ananya bhakti, shuddha bhakti. That is what here Narada Muni has told. Though somebody fall down, only for them, not for others who do business with the Lord. Those who are forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service, but somehow he fell from his grace. He went away from devotional service. God will protect him. What is pradhana bhakti? Mixed bhakti. Bhakti being prominent. Karma mishrita bhakti, jnana mishrita bhakti, like this. Such people, when they go to Krishna and they come in touch with the Guru, pure devotee of the Lord, they get purified, then they get pure bhakti. They get dasya rasa, dasya bhava after that. One more bhakti is called gunabhava bhakti, where bhakti is not prominent. Bhakti mishrita karma. Earlier was karma mishrita bhakti. Okay, some desires are there, but prominently bhakti. I want to do devotional service to Krishna. I have some desires also in between. The karma mishrita bhakti. Another is somebody wants to fulfill his desire. That is main motto. For that he is doing bhakti. His desire is prominent, bhakti is secondary. That is next level. Like somebody says, I'll go to Tirupati and I will give my hair to Tirupati Venkatramana, Balaji. Balaji wants your hair. He is after your hair or what? So God is not after your hair, not after your coconut, not after your fruits, not after your brains, not after your wealth also. God is after you as a Atma. When will you look towards me? Why are you stuck in this material world for having desire to enjoy the petty enjoyment in this world? I am here to offer you the abundant, unlimited happiness. Please come to me. That's what God wants you to do. How do you exhibit that? How do you show that to God? Yes, I am interested in you. I am not interested in material things. Then you have to sacrifice material things. There may be some discomfort. Some devotee may call you, come, let us go for a pilgrimage to Vrindavan. Then you are calculating, oh, holiday is not there, money is not there, time is not there. You will never be able to go to Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is meant for somebody who will sacrifice. He will say, I will find a way to get holiday. I will find a way to get money. I will find a way to go there. Because I decided I should go to Vrindavan. You see? So this is said here, material of forsaken is material occupation to engage devotional service. Such a devotee who has sacrificed his material comforts for the service of the Lord will take care of him. Though he may fall down, though he may go away, but Lord will not forget him. Like I explained in the last class, somebody may be doing deep devotional service, so much of austerity, getting up early in the morning, doing so many things. You should ask that person, why are you doing this? If that person says, I am doing this so that I get promotion in my job, that does not attract Krishna, though that person has so much of austerity. Krishna may grant him. Not that Krishna will not grant. Krishna will grant him. That does not attract Krishna's attention. Krishna says, that is not my business. I have kept my assistant for that. I kept the devatas for that. They will grant you. I will tell them. I will put a word to them. You come to me, I will put a word to them. Your work will be done. You can't come to me. So this is the position of a devotee and the relationship with Krishna and devotees. Next verse. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido. Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha. Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha. Tallabhyate dukkavad anyataha sukham. Tallabhyate dukkavad anyatah sukham. Kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. Kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido. Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadaha. Tallabhyate dukkavadhanyatah sukham. Kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. The persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka down to the lowest planet Patala. As far as happiness derived from the sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. This verse Prabhupada quoted many times in his lectures. Very famous verse it is. To say that why you want to go to God for your material happiness? it is not necessary, because just like in the course of time we obtain miseries though we don't want, similarly sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in due course of time. You will get that. For that you need to go and ask the Lord. That is destined to you, you will get that. That is your share. So hence, those who are intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from topmost planet to the down the lowest planet. Brahmanda Brahmite Kol Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. The living beings, up to Brahma Loka you may go by doing tapasya. If you become yogi, suppose there is a Sashtanga yogi, the yogis can elevate themselves to higher planets. You know, in these planets, 3 planetary systems, Om Bhurbhuva Swaha, we say. The Bhuloka is the middle planetary system. Bhurloka and Swargaloka is higher planetary systems. Means where more material enjoyment is there. Swarga, there is a lot of material enjoyment. Above Swarga, there is a Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, Satyaloka. What about these lokas? Who stay there? Great yogis, jnanis, who spiritually advanced people go to those lokas. From there they elevate to next higher loka, next higher loka, next higher loka. They come to Brahma Loka, Satya Loka and Brahma Loka is same. They come to Satya Loka. If they stay there till the end of Brahma's life, they will go back to Godhead. So that is the process. For those jnanis and yogis, they get elevated like that. But even in the Satyaloka somebody has gone. If they don't get devotion to Krishna, though they may go, they cannot go to enter the Vaikuntha planets. They will be in the Brahman Jyoti of Krishna, of the spiritual world. They may again fall back to the material world. So it is important for the yogis to further advance. Then Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tattvataha. One has to perform devotion to Krishna. Otherwise, they may again fall back to the material world. So, those who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for the purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet to lowest. What is that? That is devotion to Krishna. Person who is intelligent, who can understand this Siddhanta, the philosophy, what should he do? He should only focus to advance in devotional service. That is the meaning of Narada Muni. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically with the course of time. So we not work so hard for the material happiness. We not work so hard. Material happiness comes automatically. So this is important message for all the devotees. So you need to work so hard for your material success. It will come. So next few verses, I will quickly read the translation and I will finish today this section. What Narada Muni is trying to say to Vyasadeva. Dear Vyasadeva, even though devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes fall down, some or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. The Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is himself this cosmos. Still he is aloof from it. From him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In him it rests, and unto him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. Your goodness has perfect vision. You yourself can know the supreme super soul personality of God because you are present as the plenary portion of the Lord. Although you are birthless, you have appeared on this earth for the well-being of all people. Please, therefore, describe the transcendental pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, more vividly. So he's saying, more vividly explain Krishna's pastimes. Learned circles have positively concluded that the infallible purpose of the advancement of knowledge, namely austerity, study of the Vedas, sacrifice, chanting of hymns, and charity, culminates in transcendental description of the Lord, who is defined in choice poetry. What is the purpose of studying the Vedas, Vedanta? What is the purpose of doing austerities? What is the purpose of chanting the mantras? What is the purpose of all these things? It is actually should culminate in describing God, describing Supreme Personality of God. O Muni, okay, now this is the next section. So now I'll end here in the previous verse number 22, where finally the final instruction of Narada is that hence describe the Lord's pastimes more vividly. So in the next section, Narada Muni will narrate his previous life. What was in his previous life, and how the Narada Muni's life is an example that by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, he became great devotee. He will tell about that in the next. And today we have understood how Narada Muni is instructing the greatness of devotional service, and is also telling that he should describe the pastimes of the Lord, which is Kevala Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. We should talk about it. With this, we have come to the end of today's session. And with next 2 sessions, I will be completing this chapter. That means today is the 2nd, 9th, and 15th. I will be finishing this chapter. After that, I will be starting the Ramayana Katha, so which will give you more information about it in the upcoming days. So with this, we will be giving a pause to Bhagavatam in the 5th chapter, and further we will take up Bhagavatam after we hear some pastimes of Lord Rama. Is that okay? So anybody has any question? अनंतरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।